Good morning. This is the University of Sewing, and this is Margaret Fetty at Facebook Live, and we are all silly this morning, so it's been
it's
a
the
difficult.
weather.
It's got to be the weather.
It's got us goofy today.
It is
awesome out there.
It is a beautiful, beautiful day. Are you going to the farmers market? Guess what? We're open, so you can come by and see us afterwards. So if you haven't been to the University of Sewing if you haven't been here lately, we would love to have you visit. We have the whole team here today. We've got Megan and Pat. And Kaitlyn.
Me and Margaret.
And
Dave.
Yes.
Dave's behind the scenes.
We're going to try to keep him in the place. We're going to try to keep him in the place. I don't know if he'll stick around or not.
Yeah, that's
but we're
true.
Gonna...
Where's Dave?
Yeah, it's always where's Dave. Everybody says, where's Dave?
We need tracking device on him.
Oh, I haven't
Slip one into
thought
his
about
pocket.
That. That's a really good idea. Okay. So, all right. We have a very nice giveaway today, and I'm going to let Kaitlyn take this away because she's really good at it.
Am I?
Yes,
Am I good at it? Okay, so today's giveaway, we have, I love these things. It's a luggage tag color code chart for the Schmetz needles, and it's so handy to have. I was just looking through the pocket.
The little pocket guide?
The pocket guide for Schmetz needles. I was literally sitting outside on the patio the other day studying it. And I was talking to my husband, Jose, and I was like, let's learn about the parts of a needle. And I was like, do you see that this needle looks different than the other one?
She's really going out there. Going for it.
It's important to know your needle.
It is important to know your needle.
Well, the little pocket guide is great because it also has one of these. This is just super handy to put on your luggage if you're going to any kind of workshop, classes, like if you're coming here.
Yeah, because you're going to be unique.
Yes. Or also, I mean, I would just hang this on my bulletin board to have in front of me.
Yeah, so you can remember what the needles are for and what the colors mean.
Yeah, I love the colors. Then we have this pocket guide to stabilizers, which I have not flipped through it yet, but
it's by Sue. It's by Sue O'Very Pruitt, and she does a lot of embroidery types of things. So she's got this whole base of information. But you know, stabilizers are also so important when you make clothes.
Like interfacing is considered a stabilizer.
Yes.
Which I used on this.
Okay.
And a lot of times I'll come into the shop and I'll be like, Margaret,
what do we do? How do you use it?
What one do I need?
Okay, so just for kicks and giggles, just to kind of give, by the way that you are going to win this, we have to talk about that.
I'm sorry,
sorry,
I'm a chatty Cathy today. So, if you want to win this, only one cup. If you want to win this, all you have to do is share this video. So you click the share button, put in the comments that you shared, so we know that you shared because Facebook sometimes doesn't let us see all the clicks.
You mean like your mom just did?
Hi, Mom. Oh, I get to see her next weekend.
Yay.
Okay, I got sidetracked. Anyways, and you have 24 hours to do so. So even if you are watching this later in the day, you can still share it. So please do so.
Yep, you have 24 hours to do it, guys, and you can win both of these wonderful things. And it doesn't matter where you're at. We're happy to ship it to you. And I just think that these kind of things are so useful, and I want you to be able to have access to them. But you know, we sell them. So if you don't win, you certainly can pop online, go to the universityofsewing.com and go and put in stabilizers, and this pocket guide will show up.
And maybe what we'll do later is throw the link to
Oh, that's a wonderful idea. I
page.
hadn't thought about that. But yes, we'll send you the link for this actual page.
Because it's super helpful.
Well, and then I'm going to just give you a tip right now so that everybody has this. If you're making clothes and you want to have a couple of interfacings in your stash that you always know that you'll have available and will really probably do almost everything you need, get yourself some 45-inch wide woven fusible interfacing.
Yeah. I use it constantly.
It is so wonderful. It's perfect for anything woven that you're doing that you want, like your buttonholes and stuff like that. We carry that for you. We also have knit interfacing that is 60 inches wide. Now, why am I suggesting those two sizes? Well, because they'll fit for any pattern you need, and you don't have to try to piece things together, which I think is really nice. The other thing we do carry, though, for the person who's just doing an occasional garment, something with buttonholes, we carry 2-inch and 1-inch wide knit interfacing that you can use for your buttonholes. So
can you use the knit on woven?
You sure can. You sure can. And the nice thing about using a knit on a woven is it'll keep a supple hand.
Oh, nice.
So it's not going to end up being
Too
stiff. So yes, it's really, that's sometimes what happens. I really highly recommend that when you're using a stabilizer of any kind, if you're using interfacing of any kind, go ahead and try it out on a scrap and make sure. I did one time, I did a dress and I did a piece of woven interfacing in the center back for the zipper. And it was so weird because it looked like a piece of cardboard. It was really unfortunate. And I didn't test it ahead of time. So, you know, I know that sometimes these things mean it takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But boy, would you want to, after you go through all that trouble and you get everything done and you look at the garment and go, oh my God, I can't wear that because that's messed up.
Especially if you like got special fabric or spent, you know, money on your fabric.
Well, and you know what? I'm thinking you guys have good taste because you're here. So,
Very
you know,
true.
if you're got good
And
taste.
you're watching us.
Yes.
So
yeah, so they've obviously got good taste. So they're probably buying nicer stuff. So you don't want to end up putting something in there. And why don't you, Kaitlyn, go ahead and show them the Zoe. This is a new, and you know, did you know it's a top and a dress?
I was just telling Megan that. So we got this new pattern in from True Bias.
Okay.
Zoe tank and dress. And if you look on the front, you see that the model is wearing a dress. It's in a ribbed knit. But on the back, it offers 3 other views. So we have a cropped fitted tank, a longer tank, and then the dress itself. And the difficulty of this, it's like, looks like kind of a, I would say advanced beginner based on that, it looks like. But it says you can use medium weight knit fabrics with 25% or more stretch. So cotton spandex blend, t-shirt, jersey, and ribbed knits. This is so cute. I think I'm going to have to try my hand at making it.
It would be a nice one. I agree with you.
Because I wonder how many pieces are in it. Doesn't look like it would be that many.
Speaking of making, are you ready to model?
Oh, sure. So I whipped up this dress last week. I tried to get it done before I went on my trip to Cincinnati. I didn't get it finished, and it has pockets. I have to always talk about pockets. But I didn't get it finished, and that's okay because it was cold in Cincinnati. But today it's warm here, so I thought I'd wear it. It was fun. First time doing gathers around the top. So the 2 layers both have gathers. Really, it was pretty easy dress to make.
But you did notice one thing that you want to change for the next time.
So, well, I made one adjustment to the pattern, and that was I lengthened both this section and the bottom section by 1 inch because I'm 5'9.5". But I was talking to Margaret because what I've noticed is the dart is way too high for me.
And you know, everybody thinks that changing something like that is difficult to do. But I am going to show you right now it is not. So what happened with Kaitlyn's garment is she had, let's see, this is probably pretty close to what happened. And it probably had something like that on it. Okay, so I'm going to turn this back around. This is center front. It was probably on a fold.
Yep.
So, okay. So this dart pointed right here. She needed it to come down to here. So how would you fix that?
Yes, how do you fix it? Because
Well,
my brain is like, meh.
All you actually have to do, since it was, in your case, it was only 3/4 of an inch. So all you really have to do is just change you use these same points.
Oh.
And you are going to...
Just change the angle?
Just change the angle.
Oh, that's so much easier.
So now that's only going to work if it's probably inside of an inch. Okay? So now we've got this new spot. Okay? So, but if you had a situation where... I'll flip this guy over. I'm going to just tell you, doing it this way is a little challenging.
Upside down?
Upside down.
It's a new
and
skill to develop.
I guess so. So here is our garment, and we have it here, and maybe we want it actually down here. So what you can also do is you can just cut it out and move it down.
What?
That's it.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody turns this into this like big, really hard thing.
It's so, you doing the paper cutting out, that helps me.
Yeah, well, it's a visual.
Yeah.
People need to see a visual.
Because if you explain it to me, I'll be like,
So if it's just a small amount, you can just move the point down to where it's supposed to be.
And it's supposed to be at your curviest part of your
Right.
bust.
Right. So
yeah.
it just needs to move down to here. So all we have to do is change the point and then redraw the lines to be there. So that'll be easy. So if you have an issue, like I said, but it can only be probably inside of an inch to do that without it looking weird.
Yeah.
Because what we don't want it to do is be pointing down. That would look really strange.
Yeah.
So if it will start pointing down, then do it this other way where you cut it out and just move it to where you need it.
All right. Guess I'll have to make another one and give it a go.
There you go. There you
Cool.
go. It's going to be really easy, though. I mean, most of the time, we think that this stuff is super hard. It's not hard.
Yeah.
So-
Or what I could do
It's just make a new dress.
and try one of these other
There
patterns.
you go. I think so. I think
So yes, this is our newest one. It's so cute, and it would be, I think, fun to do. I think you could do some color blocking on it.
Why not?
So you could do one side one color, one the other.
That would be fun.
Maybe you can tutor Megan.
Oh. I don't know. I think I'm a bad teacher. My mom said I was a good teacher when I helped her with her apron, but I still need to learn how to comfortably work with knits.
Okay, well, one of the things that helps working with knits is people don't realize it, but you can use interfacing on them.
Because the hem is where that's where I give up.
Well,
Because they start to roll a little bit, and then I'm just like,
but
oh.
if what you do is you put a little bit of the stabilizer in your hem, especially the hems that are not, if they aren't having to stretch.
Okay.
Okay, you don't want to use this if the hem has to stretch.
So
on your neckline, as long as you can get your head through, you can go ahead and put just a little bit. And the wonderful thing about this is you can use this like stay stitching. You can cut it in half and you can just put it along your edge of where your fold is going to be.
Yeah.
So, do you know we offer classes on making knit t-shirts?
We do. I attended one.
So now you should have heard a little bit of this, but I mean, most of the time doing a t-shirt, there's about 4 different ways you can do your necklines that don't involve, you don't have to do anything really extreme. You can just serge around your neckline, turn it under, and top stitch it down.
Yeah.
It can be that simple. If you are having problems with it expanding on you and you don't want it to do that, it's rippling. If you have differential feed on your serger, adjust that. Again, this is where you should test something. Take a piece of the scrap from when you cut your knit and go ahead and cut a curve like your neckline is and test it. Because what you don't want is after you've gone through and cut your beautiful fabric, you don't want it to do that. So
I had that experience. I made a shirt 2 weeks ago with like a really fluffy double cotton gauze. And I went to start sewing it and I realized it was stretching out. But my Bernina, I got on there and I remembered you could adjust the pressure of the foot.
yes.
So I changed it.
Did fix it?
Easy peasy.
I
It was so easy. But again, I should have tested first.
Well, and you know what? If you test, then you can really avoid a lot of these problems. So, but you know, all of us forget sometimes, but you know, sometimes what you can do is you can come back, and one of the things we can use to solve some of these problems is using our steam on our iron.
Oh.
And
Yes.
Pat has a Laura Star, so she knows that steam is
Steam is
amazing.
amazing.
It can bring everything back in. Okay,
I have 2 comments that I have to
Okay.
share.
yes.
One says that Kaitlyn would be an awesome teacher.
Was that my mom?
No, she said you were a great teacher.
Oh, not awesome though.
No, the other comment was from someone else.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
So I wanted to show you guys the
The other one
interfacing.
was your dad.
My dad's watching?
No,
Oh, I was like, I don't even know if he's on Facebook.
So I wanted to show you guys, here is the woven interfacing. It looks a lot like your cotton muslin, just a little bit lighter weight. It has a fusible side that's shiny, and it's 45 inches wide, so it will work on everything. It's just really
And we
handy.
have that in black as well?
We do.
Yeah, so if you're doing
So-
a darker fabric.
Well, wait a minute. I said that, but I'm not sure. I'm going to have to double check.
Okay, well,
Because
at
they
least we
didn't
have,
have black for a while.
at least we have black in that. Because
and
I
we
think
have-
I've used that
We
for...
have black and white in the knit interfacing. And again, there's kind of a shine on the side, and you can kind of feel it. So to be careful, because if you iron it on the wrong side, of course, that creates a huge mess.
Yeah.
But in
always use
here,
a pressing cloth.
yes, use pressing cloth. And if you're doing a big bunch of interfacing stabilizer that's fusible, it's not a bad idea to put something on your ironing board cover so that you don't get it all messed up. So that's something. Oh, Pat, you're such a sweetheart.
And
Thank
even
you.
with the interfacing, so the woven one, can you take like your scraps, like you're done quilting, you have a bunch of scraps, lay them out, fuse them down, and then create like a whole new yardage of fabric? You're looking at me like I'm crazy.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to figure out what you mean, because I mean,
So like I have the interfacing down. I have just like a bunch of random scraps from quilting.
okay.
And just place them all flat down. They kind of butt up. Then fuse them down onto the interfacing. And then quilt over that and make like a new yardage.
Well, the problem would be is getting everything butted up against each other. Because
What if I don't want them butted up?
I think you should do it.
I think you could do it. I'm just going to tell you, you're going to gum up your iron and your needles.
So I took the Bernina.
There's a way to do
Yeah.
this, but you want to cover up all the interfacing so that you don't end up with it on
Right.
your...
You want it on
Yeah,
your
yeah,
iron.
You don't want it on your iron.
No, like
I
I'm
mean,
okay with.
Although there is those... there are those
Full plate.
those mats that we have, the Angelina mats,
Yes.
that are made for doing something like that. So if you want to play with that, I'll give you some tips on that. Because
Yeah.
actually there's some really cool stuff out there on the internet where people take little pieces and they do kind of apply them to stuff and make really cool pictures. But it's a little different than what you're suggesting.
Well, I took the Bernina stitch regulator class with Denise.
right?
And doing that, I'm like, I have, you
All
know,
these ideas.
ideas floating in my
Okay.
head.
All right.
Okay, I'm distracting us today.
It's okay.
So anyways, we brought out some patterns.
We did. We brought out some really cool knit patterns. Now remember, anytime you see these patterns with the long sleeves, I know we're going into summer. Remember, you can make them into short sleeves. That's not a hard thing to do. And you don't need a special pattern to do that. You can literally go, okay, I want the sleeve to end at my elbow, and you can just draw a line and add a little extra for your hem allowance, and you've got short sleeves. So that's really easy to do. But I went and had, Pat showed me something. I didn't realize that this wonderful CNT pattern, they suggest knits for it too. And I actually think knits would be super cute out of that.
Yeah.
It's a little stiff looking with woven. So I love the idea of knits out of this. So here's some great ideas for some basic shirts. Don't be deterred by the long sleeves. You can make them into short sleeves. You've got these that are kind of cute tank versions. So this can be a tank top, or a dress. So you kind of get the 2-for-1 in this pattern. You've got the Cashmerette t-shirt. This is made up for a lot of different sizes. This one goes up to an H cup. How cool is that?
Oh, nice.
So that's really nice if you need a bigger cup size.
And who do we know that does a lot of Cashmerette stuff? Whitney?
Oh.
Yeah.
Whitney does do that. But Whitney Luckenbill from Tomcat Stitchery, who's our brand ambassador, she does a lot of stuff. So you should take a look at some of her clothes that she's doing using Cashmerette. So we've got a number of Cashmerette patterns here, not the entire line, but some real cute stuff. But we brought out some of our wonderful different kinds.
This one.
I know, isn't it gorgeous? Now this one is a rayon knit. It's a rayon knit. And the reason I mention it's a rayon knit is rayon will pill much more easily than the cotton. If it's 95% cotton and the rest of it is a lycra or spandex, it tends not to pill. But if it has rayon in it, that means you have to be more careful with it. You don't want to put it in the dryer unless you're just doing it kind of maybe 1 or 2 items, and you just let it fluff a little bit so you don't have to iron it. But you do want to be more careful with it because I don't want you to be disappointed in the results.
We need to test that.
Oh, well, we have tested that. You've done it with our laundry.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're saying
It's been through the Dave test.
It has.
The most important
So
test.
we have some other really beautiful patterns here. My personal favorite of all of our knits are our staff knits, and that's these 3 right here. I have had many garments made with our staff knits, and they just still look beautiful even after having worn them for 3 years. They don't look like they're old. They don't look like they're pilly.
Faded.
They don't fade. It is really neat. I'm getting ready to order some more. Look at this blue and how gorgeous is that. And then here's something that I think you could make into kind of a fancy dress if you wanted to.
Yeah,
Isn't
really
that lovely? It's beautiful.
Sophisticated, simple, just a splash of that pink in there.
And it's that kind of fabric that, again, it is not going to pill or look nasty if you're going to spend some time on. This is a brushed cotton here.
That one too.
This one is also a brushed cotton, so these are really comfortable and soft. They're very nice also. So I just wanted to show you guys some different things you could do with your knits. I hope you will think about summer and some cool things to do. We have a lot, right now we're in the midst of a serger sale. So if you haven't thought about a serger yet, if you haven't thought you were ready for it, tell them what your experience has been. And you've got the B64, right? Yeah,
yes,
it's right there.
It's
and
right
it's on
here.
sale.
And
Look
it's
at
on
the price.
Sale.
Look at the price.
So I've had that serger. It's almost been a year.
Okay.
Because I remember I was trying to do clothes just on my older sewing machine, and I was like, I need a serger. This is amazing. It's so fast.
Is it hard to use?
No, it's so easy because it has the air threading. So with your 2 loopers, you don't have to go and like get in there and try to figure it out. It just, you put the thread in the hole and then push a button in the air. I think we did this last time because Dave made a comment about my
Swoosh.
But so I brought my serger in today because it's getting its first checkup.
First year. What happens? What happens when you get your first year checkup?
You get it for free.
See, maybe you didn't know
When you
that.
purchase
When you buy
it here.
We give you your first servicing for free. Okay.
And also, I just want to say, too, you don't have to get, it's not exclusively used for clothing.
No, not at all.
Because I'm making that patchwork jacket, and I had to serge it because the fabric I chose was
a little ravelly.
But yeah, and Margaret, you've done
T-shirt
quilts with it.
And we were going to have another t-shirt quilt class coming up. We've got some people really interested in that. So I'm going to put another one of those on the schedule very soon. We're going to be doing classes. I know that a lot of people are working and it's hard to get here during the week. So look for, because I've got the two of you now who you've been here long enough now, I can go ahead and do a class and it's not going to be, you know, a hardship on the two of you.
You're not going to walk into this site and things are going to be in
What
chaos and everything's strewn about.
Well, maybe that will be the case, but if it's busy, hopefully it's busy and they're
Pat
strewn
and I
about
got
a
it.
little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about that. Hey, we've completed a couple of quilts. We've talked most of the time about clothing, but mostly about knits. And what I want to do is I want to go take people back and let them see a couple of kits and some quilts we've got. And we have actually, one of the kits has been done by Pat. Ooh. And so I wanted to show that off too. So this is really fun and cool. So I just finished our zebra quilt.
Oh, that looks great.
Isn't he?
I love your...
just beautiful.
I love the quilting you chose for it, too.
I thought it turned out really nice. I used a variegated arrow quilt thread, and it's oranges, and I thought it turned out so nice. I was really pleased with it. I used our Isacord in the bobbin, and I used the variegated arrow quilt in the top. And we used a size 14 needle on that, and it was a quilting needle, and it just turned out gorgeous. I had no problems with that quilt. It was just so much fun to do. This one, actually, we used a traditional just polyester batting on it. So I didn't do anything. Usually I use a bamboo cotton batting. This one I didn't do that. I did it with a polyester batting because it was a new product here and I wanted to test it out. It turned out just great. We had no problems.
And that comes in a kit?
And it comes in a kit. So here we are. This is the kit. Look how pretty this is boxed up. You know what? If nothing else, think about the present that you were thinking about for somebody. Wouldn't this be a lovely gift? It's such a pretty presentation.
It's already set up, ready for it to go.
It is set up and ready to go. So one of the other quilts that we have, Dave, why don't you go ahead and show folks that gorgeous is the San Marcos quilt. It is using surfaces from Northcott, and San Marcos is a really beautiful paper-pieced quilt. All of those triangles and everything. This is a new pattern that I ended up buying from a company online for the edge-to-edge quilting, but didn't that turn out really pretty? So I think it turned out very nice. It's very good, but I want to give Pat a second so that she can show off hers. Here is the pattern that we have all ready to go. And Dave's going to come out and show you Pat's version of it. So she's got a gorgeous version of this. Look how pretty it is. Now it's not been quilted yet. She'll get to that. But look at what she's done, how beautiful it turned out. Now Pat I know it was a more difficult pattern than just your traditional, but I'm thinking it probably challenged you a little bit and you felt really good about that.
I felt really good about it, how well it worked. The biggest thing was 23 different bolts of fabric that you had to cut up in yardage.
We already have it cut up in the pattern now, though, so they don't have to worry about that.
619 different pieces.
Woo!
And 598 of them are paper piecing.
Okay. So it's going to take you a minute, but if you're ready to challenge yourself a little bit.
It is a challenge.
Isn't that a really cool way to do it? It's so beautiful.
It's amazing.
It is so pretty, and wouldn't you just be so proud to have that in your world? So the last one I want to show off that we did this week, because we're getting to where we're going to have to open, guys. So the last one I want to show off is our heirloom. This is a Pine Tree Country quilt. It's got a medallion center. Look at those gorgeous blues and browns and some rust in it. It's actually gorgeous. And this quilt is 60 by 76 inches. And we have it as a pattern also. It is ready to walk out the door for you. This one is not as challenging as San Marcos. This is just a really gorgeous quilt. I did a variegated thread in it also, but I did use our bamboo and we have a bamboo and cotton batting that we sell by the yard, and we also have it in bags. We also carry wool batting, silk batting, and 100% cotton batting. So if you're looking for the unusual stuff, if you're looking for something really unique, we do carry those. And this quilt, it is a perfect I would say the perfect thing after you've done a couple of those simple quilts. I think this is a great one to go as a next version if you were just kind of getting into doing the quilts and you haven't really tried something a little more challenging. This is not too big. It's not too overwhelming. Most of it's half square triangles. I think it would be a great project for the person who's just kind of expanding their quilting at this point. But don't forget, we have a lot of kits available right now. And I've tried to make sure that you have even some different kinds of things. The kits are not just necessarily, we sometimes, we had a block, a quilt pattern called crackers and cheese.
Oh yeah,
and crackers and cheese was made up with the idea of doing it with flannels. And it was very traditional looking. Well, we have another version of it that's in more brighter colors.
Oh, I'll have to look at that.
It's really cute. And we also have it done up in some Sally Kelly fabrics.
Oh.
So we have some really cute ideas for you out there. Don't just think that you have to do a pattern just the way that it was. Like this pattern, if you got the heirloom quilt and made it one time, there's so many other fabrics that would work well with this. So it's just such a great pattern. And even if you don't want to maybe do it in these colors, we have the pattern available separately, and you could pick out, and you could tell me, Margaret, I really love purples and turquoise, and we could pick you out some really cool stuff.
Margaret's really good at that.
I love doing it, and we would always be happy to help you make your own custom quilt kit. So everybody, take a look at what you got going on. Do you have some projects set up for the summer that you can do when you have a rainy day and there's not good weather?
Or it's too hot, like me. I'll be inside when it's too hot.
And we'll all be doing some sewing when it's too hot. So we probably have this little period of time right now where it's spring, and we'll go outside when the weather's nice. But when it's raining or when it gets too hot, you're going to want some wonderful sewing projects. So I hope we gave you some ideas for that today. And I hope that you have a fantastic Saturday.
And don't forget to share. So if you join late, we have this wonderful guide to stabilizers. You need this in your life. I need this in my life. I think I might have to buy one. And then we have this super handy luggage tag for the Schmetz needles. It's color coded, so you can, if you find your needle somewhere and you're like, what needle is this? You can figure it out. So to win these, click the share button, write shared in the comments. You have 24 hours to do so, and then we will choose someone at random and we'll ship it to you wherever you are.
We're happy to do that. But what we'd really like is for you to come and visit us.
Yeah.
You got to come and visit us. So we've had a very slow week. I don't know where everybody's been. I have a feeling this weather has kept everybody started their spring gardening.
I did that this week. I put my plants in.
Yes.
And then it's going to freeze frost maybe tomorrow.
Oh,
so make sure you cover up your plants.
Okay. All right. Okay. Everybody have a fantastic Saturday. We will see you next Friday for Facebook Live.
Bye.